The 6-ton elephant you were just impressed by now looks like a dog standing next to a house. This is a Brachiosaurus. It does not notice you. You are not worth noticing. It lowers its neck to the tree line and begins pulling branches apart, slow and mechanical, and the sound it makes is like a slow avalanche. The largest land animal alive today, the African elephant, weighs about 6 tons. Impressive. Until you put it next to a Brachiosaurus, which weighs 60 tons, stands taller than a 4-story building at the shoulder, and does not notice the elephant standing beside it any more than you notice a pigeon walking past your foot. And Brachiosaurus was not even the biggest one. Argentinosaurus, Patagotitan, Dreadnoughtus. These animals make Brachiosaurus look modest. We are talking about creatures that weighed as much as a fully loaded passenger jet, walking around, eating trees for 165 million years. How did biology produce something that size? And why has the 66 million years since the asteroid produced nothing even close to it? The answer is 4 biological superpowers that sauropods had and every land animal alive today simply does not. And by the time this is over, you will understand not just what those superpowers were, but why the size ceiling they broke through has never been touched again. Start with the problem. Every large animal on Earth faces the same trap. The bigger you get, the worse it becomes. Imagine carrying a backpack. Small one, easy. But every time you get a little bigger, someone adds weight to it. Not the same amount more each time, much more. Get twice as big, and the backpack gets 4 times heavier. Get 3 times as big, and the backpack is 9 times heavier than when you started. That is not an analogy. That is the actual mathematics of how mass scales with size. And your bones are carrying that backpack every second of every day. This is why every large mammal alive today looks the same from the legs down. Thick, dense, columnar. The elephant, the rhino, the hippo, all of them have legs built like structural pillars, positioned almost directly under the body, so weight travels straight down into the ground with as little sideways stress on the bone as possible. They did not choose this design. They were forced into it by the same mathematics every large animal has to solve. And it has a ceiling. The largest land mammal that ever existed was called Paraceratherium, a hornless relative of the rhinoceros that lived roughly 30 million years ago. It reached somewhere between 15 and 20 tons and was almost certainly at the absolute limit of what mammal bone and muscle can support on land. Nothing since has matched it. The ceiling has been sitting there for 30 million years and nothing has touched it. Sauropods did not just reach that ceiling, they went through it like it was not there and kept going to 70 tons. The first reason why will not make sense until you see it for yourself. The pneumatized skeleton, bones that were 90% air. Cut open a sauropod bone, not a leg bone, a vertebra from the neck or spine, one of the structural pieces holding the whole animal together. Cut it open the way you would cut open a loaf of bread. You expect solid, dense material. What you find looks like the inside of a bread loaf, holes everywhere. Hollow chambers running through the structure in every direction, internal struts crossing the gaps, but mostly just air. In some sauropod vertebrae, actual solid bone makes up less than 10% of the total volume. The other 90% is air. Your first instinct is that this cannot possibly work. A bone that is 90% air holding up an animal that weighs 60 tons. But look at those internal struts. They are not random. They follow the exact lines of stress moving through the bone when the animal is bearing weight. The same principle aerospace engineers use inside aircraft wings. Every gram of solid material is doing exactly the job it needs to do and nothing else. Maximum strength, minimum weight. Think about 2 backpacks, the same outer dimensions, one packed solid with textbooks, one with the same outer shell but hollow inside with just enough internal structure to hold its shape. Same dimensions, completely different weight. The sauropod skeleton was the hollow backpack. Every mammal alive today is the one full of textbooks. This feature has a name, pneumatization. And the hollow spaces in sauropod bones were not just sitting there empty, they were connected to something. And that something is the second superpower. Flow-through respiration, the bird lung that built giants. Take a breath. Air comes in, your lungs extract the oxygen, your blood carries it to the muscles. Then you breathe out, and the same air that came in goes back out the way it came. In, extract, out. In, extract, out. Here is the problem nobody tells you about. The air leaving your lungs is not empty. There is still oxygen in it, and the next breath mixes fresh air with that stale leftover, which means at no point are your lungs ever working with completely pure, fresh air. Always a mixture, always some stale blended in with the new. For most animals, this is fine. Now make yourself a Brachiosaurus. Your neck is 10 meters long. Your body is the size of a small building. Moving the volume of air needed to fuel that much tissue in and out through a tube 10 meters long is like trying to drink a bathtub of water through a straw long enough to cross a room. The resistance alone becomes a serious problem. The energy cost of just breathing starts competing with the energy cost of everything else the animal needs to do. Sauropods did not solve this problem. They replaced the problem entirely. Their lungs did not move air in and then back out the same way. Air entered at one end, moved through the lung in a single continuous direction, and exited through a completely different pathway. The lung was always receiving pure, fresh air, never a mixture, never stale. Like a conveyor belt running one way, never stopping, never backing up. This is the same system birds use today. It is why a bar-headed goose can fly over the summit of the Himalayas at altitudes that would render a human unconscious within minutes. The bird lung extracts oxygen so efficiently it can function in air thin enough to kill anything with a mammalian respiratory system. Scale that up to a Brachiosaurus, and the breathing demands of a 60-ton body suddenly become solvable. And those hollow bone chambers were not decorative. They were connected directly to the air sac network, extending the breathing system throughout the entire skeleton, turning the bones themselves into part of the respiratory machine. Lighter skeleton, better breathing. Two superpowers running through the same biological system at once. The engineering elegance of this is difficult to overstate. The same structure that saved weight also increased respiratory efficiency. A single biological solution to two separate problems simultaneously. And it is deeply unsettling when you think about how far ahead of anything alive today it was. The neck, a biological crane that never moved its feet. Now watch what the Brachiosaurus is actually doing. It has not moved its feet since you first saw it, not a single step. But it has eaten continuously, pulling branch after branch out of the tree line in that slow, mechanical sweep. That neck, 15 meters on Mamenchisaurus, 12 meters on Brachiosaurus, is a biological crane that can sweep through an enormous arc of vegetation without moving the body beneath it at all. Imagine standing in the center of a large room and being able to reach every wall, every corner, every shelf without taking a single step. That is what that mech is doing. The food comes to the animal, not the other way around. An elephant spends up to 18 hours a day eating and moving between food sources, walking its entire 6-ton body from one patch of vegetation to the next, burning energy with every step just to get to the next meal. Feeding for a large mammal is expensive before a single calorie is actually consumed. A Mamenchisaurus stands in one spot and harvests an area the size of several tennis courts without moving its feet. Moving a neck through an arc costs almost nothing compared to moving a 60-ton body across the ground. The caloric efficiency of this is staggering. The same amount of food, a fraction of the locomotion cost to reach it. The teeth complete the picture. They were not designed for chewing. They were rakes, long, simple pegs built for one job only, stripping leaves off branches as fast as the neck could swing. No grinding, no processing, no time wasted. Everything went straight down into an enormous fermentation gut that handled the breakdown later. Strip, swallow, swing the neck, repeat. That is how you fuel 60 tons. Trying to reach sauropod size in a mammalian body is like trying to win a swimming race in running shoes. The shoes are not bad, they are just wrong for that particular race. Sauropods had the right shoes. They had them for 165 million years, and when they were gone, no animal that came after them ever found the same combination again. So why were dinosaurs so much bigger than anything alive today? Hollow, pneumatized skeletons that weighed almost nothing and breathed at the same time. A flow-through respiratory system that kept pure, fresh oxygen moving through a body the size of a building. A neck that turned the most expensive part of being a large herbivore, getting to the food, into a low-cost sweep requiring almost no locomotion at all. And a growth rate so explosive that the window of genuine vulnerability lasted years instead of decades. Those four superpowers, stacked on top of each other and running simultaneously, produced the largest land animals in the history of life on this planet. And they have not been replicated since. The ground is still shaking. The Brachiosaurus is still there, still sweeping that mech through the same slow arc, still pulling branches apart with quiet, mechanical efficiency, still filling a body that the entire history of mammalian biology says should not be able to exist. But it did exist. It was not a miracle. It was not an accident. It was the completely logical output of a biological system so well engineered for size that nothing produced in the 66 million years since has come close to replicating it.